I tried to highlight in my opening comments, and Mr. Gorman highlighted it quite clearly. These stress tests are very, very significant tests that look at very, very severe shocks to our balance sheets. I highlighted a 50% decline in equity prices over a one-year period, on top of then a simultaneous equity market shock that has looked at much as 30% instantaneous equity decline. So very, very severe shocks that we've not seen even in the worst crisis. That puts buffers in place that protect the system. Now, of course, a sound and secure system is imperative for our capital markets, and we can always have debates at the margin as to whether or not there are things that we can do that can strengthen the system. But a wholesale increase of 25% capital in the largest banks with lots of individual provisions that affect different activities, I think is ultimately punitive to economic growth and doesn't strike the right cost-benefit analysis. We, of course, need to make the system secure. The system is in good shape. We've seen that under stress. That doesn't mean there aren't things that can be done at the margin, but this is a wholesale change that leads to problems. Ms. Frazier highlighted one example talking about farmers. You can look at airlines hedging jet fuel. If you want to look at other derivatives, which obviously gets passed on to consumers, you can look at gas being hedged in utilities, which obviously gets passed on to consumers. And then you can look at other transactions. There's a provision under the rule called SFT, which allows institutions like ours to borrow securities from pension plans and give them cash. That increases the returns. It allows them to use their assets to increase the returns. Capital would increase by 8 times for those types of transactions, which would make them unattractive and therefore would diminish the ability for pensions to access that tool to increase the returns.